Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of VENDO Velocity. If this is your first time joining us, VENDO Velocity is our live podcast here at VENDO, in which we go live on Tuesdays and chat through all things Walmart.com, Amazon.com, and TikTok Shop. So Mark, who's with me on the podcast today, has been on a few VENDO Velocity lives with me and has also been featured on a few VENDO podcasts even before we were running the lives through Velocity. So he's an old man in Vendo years here. Mark, I'll allow you to introduce yourself and your role a little bit in greater detail.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you for aging me. My name is Mark Jordan. I lead on our Walmart side of the business, the marketplace piece of our business specifically. So Walmart, of course, is like the 1P business, the store business. They have their Walmart marketplace. I previously worked for Walmart Marketplace, and I joined Vendo about 4 years ago to kind of head up onboarding new brands into the Walmart Marketplace and also establish our agency partnership with Walmart Marketplace and all the great things that they're building there.
Great. Yes, Mark actually brought me onto the Vendo team along with probably many others here. So lots to thank Mark for, as does the rest of the team. But excited to dive in. Mark's been on a few podcasts where we've really talked about some specific strategies for launching on Walmart Marketplace. But we thought it would be best to take a step back and better understand what some of the steps were involved in the onboarding process specifically. So we'll talk through things like eligibility and requirements, and then just general onboarding for how we could provide more of a seamless experience for some of those new sellers that Mark is referencing there. So Mark, let's start a little bit with just the eligibility. What are some of the eligibility criteria for sellers who want to join Walmart Marketplace?
Yeah, absolutely. So Walmart has kind of a bit of a stricter like application process for people that do want to come on and sell, whether you're like an individual or you're an actual brand, a distributor, whatever it is. They have an application that you go through. We provide that obviously to our clients, and then you fill out some basic information about your business, but you will have to go through like a business verification where you need to put in like your EIN, your business address, and some other related materials. They'll actually like audit all that on the back end to make sure there's nothing like kind of fraudulent happening against your EIN. Or a lot of times what we've found is there may be brands that use their EIN to apply, sometime back in maybe like 2017 to the Walmart Marketplace. Walmart's backend is really weird. Like if you did that, you technically like have an account already and you can't necessarily apply a second time. And so you'll get like a denial or your business verification might not go through. And Walmart doesn't necessarily just like say that. It's kind of hard to tell. Luckily, like with our agency partnership, we work directly with the business development teams at Walmart. I can email them, your EIN and say, hey, we need to get this approved. And, in a few days, we're off to the races. But there is like definitely some requirements around actually getting in. Once you actually get your business approval, you have to sign up with a third-party payment provider so that Walmart can essentially like direct deposit funds to this provider, and then that provider can direct deposit that to your bank account. They have a couple options like Payoneer or Hyper Wallet. You'll sign up for that when you're actually in the portal after you get your business verification done. So there are just some like different nuances with how you sign up for Walmart versus maybe some other marketplaces that you might be used to, as well as some weirdness around actually getting approved to sell on the platform and what that looks like.
Awesome. That's super helpful. What about Walmart's evaluation of suitability of products for their marketplace? How strict are they on which products you can actually launch on their marketplace, or is it more of an open marketplace?
That is a great question. It's honestly changing a lot, and the rules around a lot of different items and who can sell them changes a lot. Long-winded or short-winded way of saying like anything and everything kind of can be sold that you would normally expect to be sold, with the exceptions of like maybe some CBD related things and drug related stuff. Obviously, like a lot can be sold. However, Walmart does put a lot of guidelines in place for such things like beauty or jewelry or dietary supplements, premium products, things that maybe can have like a lot of fraudulentness against them, things that maybe get refurbished. They may only actually approve like certain people or brands or distributors or whoever to actually sell certain types of products. If a lot of times you may set something up and it might say this is against, the prohibited policy, or it might say there's an IP infringement on this item, or something weird might be going on. We even see that sometimes with like actual brands that join the platform like years later. There may be like an old IP complaint against like their own product that we then need to go and actually resolve with Walmart. So it is constantly changing. We know like Halloween has a lot of strictness around it. It has to go through approvals and things like that. So there's ways around, getting into different things to be able to sell. But just like other marketplaces, right, there are guardrails in place that do and don't allow certain things to be able to be sold. It's just kind of about getting the right relationships, I think, with Walmart and kind of talking through things. No guarantees sometimes, but there is ways around a lot of the issues that you may see.
Got it. So once you have your application and you submit your application, how long does it typically take to get to the approval stage?
Yeah, so when you do submit that, like it says it's supposed to take, I believe, 72 hours or like 3 to 5 business days or something like that. If you're seeing it sit in that stage and it's not getting through the business verification, there's more than likely something wrong with your application and like with your EIN. Like I said, a lot of times it's that the brand's already applied. They don't know what's going on. They don't know how to resolve it. Or the actual application may have gotten denied, and you have to go through an appeals process that you have to submit and open up. Again, we handle all that and work with Walmart to actually resolve that. But it's fairly quick, I'd say, in terms of like, let's say you actually do sign up, you get the approval, you don't have any like major roadblocks. You have to fill in some admin information about your company, a few pieces there. You can get to like items set up quite quickly once you actually do get the approvals and then kind of get through the steps of everything else. So I will give credit to Walmart in the way that they have their UI set up. It is fairly straightforward in how you go from approval to your next kind of steps of what you need to get done.
Very cool. And so once your application is approved, can you talk a little bit about some of the key next steps involved in the onboarding process for new sellers on the marketplace?
Yeah, definitely. So when you're kind of evaluating Walmart Marketplace, right, you need to think about obviously like which assortment you want, how you want to fulfill, maybe some strategies that you want to do for ratings and reviews, and of course, advertising. How are you going to actually put these products in front of people, especially if you're a brand, you're not just reselling on someone else's listing, right? How do you actually want to like drive volume? Of course, assortment is important. Honestly, with Walmart, it's a bit of the Wild West. There's not a lot of tools out there that can tell you, hey, you should be selling this, or hey, maybe you shouldn't be selling this. We always definitely recommend like put your full assortment up, do some testing with seller fulfilled inventory, move your hero items into Walmart fulfillment services, which I'm sure we're going to talk about in a second. And then, make sure you're activating things like ratings and reviews and good advertising past that. But I definitely think that you should test multiple different types of items in your assortments and not just go with what you think's working in another marketplace, because Walmart is very different. And I think the customer base is quite different too. You kind of never know what's going to work or what's not. But yeah, once you get your item set up, build your assortment. You have to, of course, optimize that assortment. So you, of course, want to have like best in class copy, imagery, get video content on there, make sure that you, again, ratings and reviews go back to the content, right? There's a lot you can do to optimize. Maybe don't just take your existing other marketplace stuff. You do want to follow the Walmart style guides and what they use for their content scores. The better your content score is, the better your item is going to appear within search on different search terms, but also be higher on the page on organic search terms as well. So you're optimizing. Past that, of course, there are, like I keep talking about ratings and reviews because it's so important. There's so many different ratings and reviews programs that you can do with your items to syndicate reviews or generate new reviews with sampling or other types of methods. And then the advertising is a big piece, and Walmart Fulfillment Services is another whole big piece to actually building up conversion, really having a business with Walmart. I'll pause there because I'm probably touching on a bunch of different things, Delaney.
No, that's all great, Mark. I do want to touch on ratings and reviews to your point a little bit more, because for those sellers that are coming in directly from Amazon, they probably aren't used to having methods of syndication available to them. They're used to enrolling in Vine and trying to get reviews through other means that are, of course, aligned with Amazon's terms of service. But with Walmart, you could really get an upper hand through this review syndication. So Mark, question for you: at what step are you able to syndicate these reviews? Can you even syndicate before you have inventory available, so you're launching with these reviews, or what does that look like?
Yeah, you absolutely can. As soon as you essentially have the items built in your assortment, as long as like those UPCs are in the assortment and they have identifiers against them, then if you are going to choose to go a syndication route with like Bazaar Voice, Yotpo, whoever syndicates the Walmart, then you need to have that information in there, obviously, because they need to tie those reviews back. And when we talk about syndication, right, this is about taking existing reviews that you have on your direct to consumer D2C site and then pushing those reviews onto your product listings at Walmart, at Target, at whatever retailer, right? Walmart, I think, exclusively pretty much works with like Bazaar Voice and Yotpo. There may be a few out there that do other things, but that's how you would syndicate reviews. If you want to generate some reviews, they do have a similar type Vine program called the Review Accelerator program. It's not as robust, but also for generating some new reviews, there are ways to do additional like third-party sampling and ways to get reviews on your products. One thing I forgot to mention when we talk about the syndication side too is there is like a free syndication program that Walmart Marketplace has for Walmart Marketplace sellers. You have to have very compliant FTA reviews on your or FTC reviews, excuse me, on your D2C site. And you basically need to be able to export them, submit them into the Walmart portal that's applicable, and Walmart will take those reviews and put them on your products. It's a one-time push, so it's not ongoing syndication like if you were using some of the other syndication providers. But yes, you can do it all before your products actually have inventory. We do recommend that you just get it going as soon as you have the items built.
Awesome. No, that's a great point. For the one-time push, is it only allowed to be a one-time push, or if you wanted to, you could download them more consistently and upload, etc.?
That's a great question. For the one that Walmart offers directly, I believe you can only one-time push every 6 months,
Okay.
which is tough. But even that program is a little odd in how it works. So usually once you've done your first push and hopefully you have many D2C reviews, it's probably best to now start implementing some other things and not just keep pushing, or maybe go through another way of syndication. I believe Yotpo also offers some one-time pushes, but it's for a fee. So if you're already in a contract with Yotpo, it may be worth exploring how they can push your reviews over to Walmart too.
Awesome. I want to talk a little bit about the Review Accelerator program as well, since that is most similar to Vine and might have some familiarity to people. But one of the bigger pushbacks that we receive through using the Amazon Vine program is that these reviewers can be quite critical at times. And we've seen that on average, the star rating is probably between 4 and 4.2, where a lot of brands coming in, they want as many 5-star reviews as possible. So Mark, just picking your brain a little bit on the Review Accelerator program, are you seeing something very similar when it comes to the reviews? How much are brands actually adopting this, considering a lot of brands probably have D2C presence and are able to syndicate or download their reviews through that method that you just went through? But just shed a little bit more light on that program specifically.
Yeah, sure. And I think honestly, the question you're kind of asking is like, is it even really worth turning on if you can just syndicate or generate better reviews, right? And the answer is, it's probably not worth turning it on, right? Because you do have to pay fees to Walmart to do it. If you could syndicate a freeway or you already have that in place, do that. Plus, you're probably pulling better reviews because, to your point, right? It's just similar to Vine. You're getting a review in exchange for some credits, right, on the back. And yeah, they can be as critical as they want, right? And they definitely will be. I've actually seen the program personally. I'm sure other user people have some different experiences with it. It's not actually hitting like the maxes of what you can get. I think you can get up to 15 reviews now per listing that's eligible. There are also eligibility requirements for what items you can actually enroll. So that's a whole other piece of it. If you want to learn more about it, go to Seller Center, go to your growth opportunities, and you can kind of read more about that. But we haven't, for items that we've submitted in there on behalf of some brands, it's taken very, very, very long to even actually like get all of those reviews, when truthfully you can probably do some syndication or generation some other ways quicker and get better quality and more reviews too, right?
Got it. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, cool. Let's talk a little bit about WFS. Similar question for you. Are most brands at this point, or most sellers coming out of the gates launching with WFS, or what does that look like as the program continues to evolve?
Yeah, I think it's really going to come down to your goals, right, of what you want to be doing on the marketplace. If you're kind of just looking to have this there and you don't really care about it, whatever, maybe you don't need Walmart fulfillment services. You can be on seller fulfilled, aka FBM on Amazon terms, right? But you can do that. You may not drive as much. We really do see, so Walmart puts out a stat that when people transition to Walmart fulfillment services, it's like a 50% increase in GMV. I would say a lot of the brands we work with, that is honestly the increase in number, 40 to 50%. It is really that valuable to driving growth. And it is because you get the Walmart Plus badge, you get nationwide 2-day shipping, you look very competitive on site when people are looking. You have to remember that you are competing against product that is sitting in Walmart stores that have ship from store capability. I forget what the stat is about how many Americans live near a Walmart store or whatever, but it's something insane, right? So when people are searching for your product, whey protein or whatever, they're going to see your marketplace listing, but they're going to see the store listing, and that store listing is going to have faster ship time to them or curbside pickup, unless your product that's in Walmart Marketplace is in Walmart Fulfillment Services with a Walmart Plus badge on it. That's really the only way you can stay competitive there and maybe convert that sale to you versus like the store item, let's say. So there is significant benefit to using Walmart Fulfillment Services to actually driving growth on the platform. It's a very straightforward process. We handle it all end to end for the different brands that we work with. But I've been a big fan of it. It's grown a lot. They continue to open up new warehouses, which is great. And I think it's going to just continue to grow. I think if you are a brand who has the margin to be able to actually like profitably use Walmart Fulfillment Services, then you should use it. There's no reason why I don't think you shouldn't be, especially if your goals are, of course, to actually grow on this platform.
No, that's a great point. I want to talk a little bit about a couple of things you said there. One, just from our Amazon side of our business, when we have brands that are looking to launch on Walmart.com and there are brands that are existing on Amazon right now, they come to us with a couple of things. One, what type of tech integrations do I need to be able to launch on Walmart.com? Do I need to override anything from a technical standpoint? And then two, what does our budget look like in order to be able to launch on Walmart.com? And then, of course, three, like what is the volume, which is very difficult to forecast, Walmart versus Amazon. But want to dive a little bit into the tech piece specifically.
Sure.
When you think about tech integrations, what's necessary for sellers during the onboarding process to make sure that they're syncing everything correctly and that they're creating as much of a seamless possible experience for themselves as possible?
Yeah, I mean, this will again, I think, come down to the goals of that brand and what they're doing. Like you honestly don't need any tech if you don't want. You can do like we do everything hand to keyboard in the portal, from item setups and optimizations to managing Walmart Fulfillment Services and all of that. If you're, a huge brand and you got thousands of SKUs and you really need to have that seller fulfilled component maybe, and you need to have it so all of that's automated, right? Like inventory is tracked and order numbers are tracked, then you may need to API in with like some type of ShipStation or NetSuite or whatever that you want to do for all of that stuff. You can also API in your Shopify D2C store directly to Walmart through a couple different apps there to actually like enable seller fulfilled automation through your Shopify inventory. We've done that for a lot of brands that might need that. And that might be the best starting point before you want to get into Walmart Fulfillment Services, just to build up a little cadence with Walmart and see what's going on while you're kind of getting all the other pieces together. Other types of tech would probably be coming from like the ad platform side. And this will lead into kind of your other question about budgets and things too. So advertising, right, is super important with Walmart. There is the Walmart Ad Center, but there are, of course, other softwares out there that kind of sit on top of that platform that can pull out more data, have custom dashboarding and reporting and all of that. I know we have one that we're building right now, and it's going to be live very soon. So there's definitely certain tech like that you could use for advertising if you didn't want to use the Ad Center. But you definitely don't need any tech, I'd say, if you really just want to get launched and moving in the right direction.
Got it. What about like the cold start period on Walmart.com specifically? You've listed out so many steps here, but what's like the average time frame where you start to see the brands build up a bit of a baseline on Walmart.com?
Yeah, that's a great question. It goes into like the volume question, right? A lot of brands are net new to Walmart, right? So you need to come into an expectation that your brand may do nothing, is how I kind of like to look at it, right? Obviously, the goal is to build up your business and drive sales, but that also, like, a lot of brands are coming from Amazon, or they've been on Amazon for however many years. They've built up cadence. They've done external marketing. They've got it, like they've pulled every lever, right? Like most brands are coming in from scratch. And even a lot of brands that I think are on Walmart today are maybe not pulling all the levers that they could be. it's a lot of truth that brands may plateau at a certain point with Walmart if that traffic just like isn't there for that category, right? You definitely need to give it, in my opinion, a very solid 6 to 8 month run with Walmart. And what I mean about 6 to 8 months is like 6 to 8 months of full selling, full use of WFS, full use of an ad budget that's pushing probably more of top line sales versus efficiency for a while. And you're scaling kind of down towards maybe a better tacos goal over time. But you can't come out the gate and say, we're not going to do WFS and we're only going to hit, we have to hit a 10% tacos goal. Like you're just not going to grow on the platform. Like it's not going to work. Right. There's too many sellers and too much business on the platform now for you to just like say that you're not going to do different activations and things. Another big piece is running promos, right? This is hard. This is really hard, especially if you're on Amazon. Walmart has all these time deals and events, and a lot of them come out last minute that you might want to play in. Think about engaging in some of them and think about just how your Amazon business is going to be affected from price matching and suppression, right? It's always been kind of the thought that you want to follow what you're doing on Amazon first because you don't want to hurt that channel, which more than likely is going to be bigger. However, you might want to do something on Walmart and then do that on Amazon just to get some more relevancy on Walmart. Again, if your goal is to grow this channel, you got to play in the channel then too. You can't just let it sit there and be the baby to Amazon. You have to actually invest some time and money into promos and advertising and all sorts of other things. So that's my quick little rant there.
No, that's a great point. And I want to talk a little bit about the post onboarding process, just to your point of how we can look to grow and scale. Of course, Vendo plays a crucial role in partnering with brands on some of that strategy when it comes to the promotional strategy, planning for those tentpole events, and also just working closely with Walmart support. So I want to talk a little bit about what Walmart support is available here, given that people are probably used to hearing that there's merchant support on the 1P side of the business, but are asking questions about what sort of support Walmart plays on the 3P side of the business. Can you talk a little bit about that as well, Mark?
Yeah, sure. I guess the obvious one, seller support, filing cases to be able to fix whatever is necessary in your account. It's okay. It's not amazing. It's consistently improving, but that's going to be your first way, right? Especially if you don't have human contacts at Walmart to help you with certain things. The next level of support I would say would be like your strategic account managers or incubation teams, maybe that come in to when you're onboarding. They're usually reserved for like larger direct-to-consumer brands that have really blown it out the park on Amazon. Now they're coming to Walmart. Maybe they already have a retail presence at Walmart, so they're going to get a little more of that like white glove hand holding by Walmart to onboard. And then us, right? Like we're the best version of support because not only are we doing all of the work for you in the account, but we also hold all the relationships with different departments at Walmart to kind of get speedy fixes on a lot of different things, and also connect with a lot of the strategic account managers that might be able to help with your brand about elevating them a bit more on site and things like that. But there's different people. Walmart's still very relationship based, I'd say. Which I know Amazon can be too, right? So it's still a relationship game, but there's way less tactical levers that you can pull on Walmart versus Amazon. You can't do subscribe and save. You can't do couponing. Virtual bundles and virtual packs is still kind of beta-ish. Driving external traffic, no one really knows if that helps the algorithm or not. There's like a lot of different things, right? So test and learn, be patient with Walmart. Invest in the right way. If you want to see it grow, then you're going to have to play in that space. But yeah.
There we go. I feel like that's the best way to close there, Mark. So really appreciate the time. Again, you went through the full onboarding process there and the requirements to launch. So appreciate you walking through that. We'll definitely open the forum here to questions. So if you guys have any, feel free to drop them here in the chat, and we'll make sure that Mark comes back on in a future episode because we have them pretty much laid out every other month to go ahead and address those and talk about some of the growth that we're seeing on Walmart Marketplace and some of the strategies behind that. But Mark, hope you have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate you having me back.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.